Hey then everyone, Juan Romero here from Switchwatch and welcome to my review of Minecraft Dungeons specifically played on the Nintendo Switch. Before I start, I wanted to get a few disclaimers out of the way. I played the whole thing through with my 5-year-old daughter and we managed to complete the game together. Bought this myself as a parent so that I could play with her, as the original Minecraft game's just a little too complex. So this spin-off is much lighter. It's a dungeon crawler based on the Minecraft universe using those blocky visuals. So you either love or hate that, but is it any good and is it worth your hard-earned cash? Let's get into it and find out. The story is based on an enemy known as the Arch-Illager. Archie was an exile from his people and went on search to be accepted from another village, but no one would. Cruel world. So upon his search, he gets more and more bitter, and after each rejection, he stumbles on a cave containing the Orb of Dominance, of course. And as he does, he's now the most powerful. He takes over village after village and makes all villagers his slaves. And now it's down to a hero to stop him, which of course is going to be you and maybe one more player. Now, gameplay wise, in typical dungeon crawling RPG style, you take your character, which you choose at the beginning. However, there are no classes here, just a character and a skin which you prefer the look of, which means you're not locked into any way of playing from the beginning. As you go through the levels, you'll pick up items which can equip and facilitate your preferred play style. You can enhance weapons and armor with enchant points, which will give such items extra properties, but these points are distributed as you level up. It is therefore super important that you use the salvage option to break down weapons you no longer want, so that you can use these and get those salvage points back that you spent and put towards that better piece of equipment when you require. You also gain emeralds in the game. This is the game's currency, which you can use in the camp to purchase random gear. More on that later though. Now, gameplay here is very simple indeed. You go in, attack melee style, or stay back and use arrows, which are very important in this game, from afar. Now, although the game can be completed in well under a day on its default setting, in fact you can do this in a matter of hours, Minecraft Dungeons is designed to be replayed multiple times, as the levels are semi-procedurally generated, each with their own unique part which stays the same throughout. You'll miss loot the first time round, so it pays to go back and replay those levels, and also at first some difficulties will be unlocked so that you can play on a harder difficulty setting. The map also shows which loot is still available with a question mark in a particular level, so that's really handy, so that you can check, so that you can go back and know that there is still loot to acquire in that particular level. Levels do get harder as you progress, but your character also levels up, becoming stronger themselves, hence the RPG element, although there are no skill trees here. In the first run through, items may seem pretty standard fare, such as a sword or shield, so you can play more as a warrior or tank, or a bow and arrow, so you can deal damage from afar. As you collect more and more items, you can mould the character you want through the items you find, matching them to your style, or even change styles from level to level, and if you prefer, keeping relevant items in your bag, you can even do it throughout a level. The point is, it's up to you. Having custom builds would have been really nice to change on the fly though. Enhancing your items, and you'll be creating all sorts of nice magical effects and damage on screen. And it's this thirst for loot and trying different styles which really creates that replayability here. Arrows run out, but luckily each level has a supply crate halfway through. Enemies are never that tough to beat until there's loads crowded together, but there are a range of different threats, from your mages, skeleton firing arrows at you, and cactuses which blow up. Luckily for you, you have all sorts of items to help you through too, so you can use slightly differing tactics. Finding TNT is always a ton of fun. Now, bosses are not the most challenging either, or the most fun, but serve enough of a purpose here. Now, one of the disappointments for me was when collecting the game's emeralds, which act as the game's currency. In between levels at the camp, you can spend these, but you can only do so with the Wandering Trader, in which will give you a random item, or the Blacksmith, which will give you random gear. Honestly, I would most of the time find better gear on my level runs. I really did love though throughout my runs how the map was implemented. You can have it on all of the time or manually get the map out when you're stuck, or even sort of go in between having it on and off, and there's yellow markers to help you along the way so you never really get lost for long. There are also a number of other items you can equip too that have cooldowns, such as turning your arrows into a rocket which explodes, causing damage to multiple foes, or a death cap mushroom, increasing your attack and movement speed. You can even equip an item in which you can call on a llama to fight by your side, and when it perishes you can just call on it again. Great stuff. And you'll be using your potions to regain health. Killing cows and sheep also regains health, although my little one didn't really agree with it, though munching meat is very good for your health here, and on harder difficulties it's definitely required when that potion is cooling down and you're taking hits left, right and centre. Now it's all simple fun, not too in depth, and that's either going to put people off or it won't, but for me and the purpose I wanted this game for, to play through with my daughter, it served its purpose perfectly for what I needed. Together we really enjoyed finding rare weapons and armors, which the game has a variety of. I, for example, managed to find a unique armor orange item, and I explained to my daughter this was a rarer than normal item, and due to this I had a bat which would now serve as my companion. That was it. She also had to find a unique armor and then weapon in both melee and of course a good crossbow too. And when we got the crossbow, which would fire 3 arrows, she was amazed, and so we formed a partnership where she would often stay back and fire multiple arrows and I would act more as the warrior, wading in, causing all sorts of mayhem with my melee attacks, and sometimes she would rush in and die, but that was cool as you can revive the player too, and if you both perish then you have 3 or so lives to complete a level and you start again. So very fair in that regard, and we never found it too challenging on normal mode, but of course you can choose to go into the levels or dungeons with a much harder difficulty, meaning there'll be better rewards in the loot that you're going to find. And for me and my daughter, this gameplay loop was great. We enjoyed the game from start to finish, and she wanted to play again to see if we could find that loot all the time, and that to me really was the motivation. For older players the game may be a little bit too simplistic and short, and if that's the case then I would suggest something along the lines of Diablo 3, but for parents who like to play games with their kids, this is a must in my opinion. It's not perfect by any means. For a start, it's rather short in its first playthrough, but there is replay value in finding all of that loot. There are some glitches which we will discuss in the performance section. Now you can play with a Joy-Con each in portable mode and of course in docked, but we enjoyed it more with a Pro controller each. It's easy just to switch from solo to co-op too. A player can join whenever they like, which is really good for accessibility. The game was easy enough for my 5-year-old to play competently and easy enough to understand, and that at the end of the day was probably the aim. So for me, mission accomplished. In terms of audio, not much to say other than the narrator who narrates the game before each level is perfect. She sounds great with that voice of pending doom, but still enough chirp to give you hope, and the music and backing tracks is pretty dramatic and fitted together really well, and the sound effects, no issues here with that at all. Now visually and performance, there are a few issues. The game runs around 30 frames per second. I say around because, you know, it does slow down quite a bit, and that's in docked mode that I especially noticed these dips and stutters, which is pretty annoying to say the least. Did it ruin the experience? No, it didn't, but I did notice it, and I'd rather it wasn't there. Funny enough though, when I played in handheld, I did not notice as many stutters. In fact, it seemed smoother, so I'm not sure exactly why that is. Maybe it's just that the screen is much larger and I just noticed those stutters a lot more on the bigger screen. Slowdown would usually occur facing plenty of enemies on screen at once, but was no worse whether I played with another player or playing solo. Online was fine, although there is no crossplay here. HD Rumble is included on the Nintendo Switch, but it's not used as much as I think it should have been. Value-wise, I paid £16.74 for my digital copy of Minecraft Dungeons, and in the US you can get this for around $19.99, and the same in Europe. it's going to always command a little bit of a premium as it's based on Minecraft. Does it offer great value? Well, it really depends, doesn't it? If I take my daughter or little one to watch a movie at the cinema, or scratch that because we can't at the moment. Put it this way, I paid $20 to download Trolls on Amazon for a rental, and that gave us 2 hours of entertainment. This will give you 3 with around 1 playthrough, so that's if you played it once. For me and my child, it offered value because we enjoyed it, and we enjoyed playing it multiple times, and I was having fun also playing it in handheld alone. It's a nice easy one where you don't have to concentrate too hard on, and sometimes a game like this is just what's needed, and I enjoyed it even more so playing it with another. For players who want to discover everything, then multiple playthroughs is essential, and on those tougher difficulties the game will give you more of a challenge. Of course, you're always going to miss that loot, so you need to go back and get it. In terms of my verdict then, sure, Minecraft Dungeons is not the longest experience, it's not the perfect game, and it has some performance issues on the Switch. But what it does offer is a nice, simple dungeon crawling experience based on the Minecraft universe that you can enjoy, which isn't going to kill you in terms of the hours you need to put in to get all of the unique items. It's not the most complex game either, but for me that was spot on for what I needed it for. A game that I can enjoy with my little one that was a little bit light, and to see the smile on her face playing with her father was priceless. A solid 7 out of 10. Just hope for more content in the future with a bit more polish. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're still here watching, then you're still supporting. Thank you so much for that. We all appreciate it. Put a lot of hours in our spare time producing these videos, so I would love to ask something of you. If you don't mind sharing this video with someone who loves gaming as much as you, that would be absolutely fantastic. What do you think of Minecraft Dungeons? Is this one that you're planning on getting? Leave us a comment down below and let us know. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you don't miss another video. That goes for you existing subscribers too. This week is going to be jam-packed thanks to all of our members, subscribers and new viewers here for the first time. We'll hope to see you again on the next one. For now, check these videos up above. All the best. Take care.